7 o'clock, and here's what's happening. Shots are fired at police officers in West Philadelphia. It happened before 8 o'clock tonight. Police say 2 officers pulled a car over at 55th and Summer. That's when investigators say someone in the car fired at the officers. They say one of the officers fired back. No one was hit. Police say the car then took off and crashed about a block away. The suspects then ran off. Officers eventually took 3 people into custody. Again, no one was injured. Also tonight, we are tracking another weather system that will bring heavy rain and strong winds. Good evening, everyone. I'm Yuki Washington.
And I'm Jessica Cartalia. Right now, the weather's pretty calm. We're staying dry, but it will be a very different story tomorrow, especially in the evening.
Let's get the timing and help get you prepared with Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly.
Yeah, I tell you what, guys, I'm monitoring this storm. I'm looking at our Storm Prediction Center. Already more than 100 severe reports from this storm. 6 tornadoes already tonight. That's in Texas and parts areas off to the east into Arkansas. So here's that storm system. And the reason I'm bringing it up, yes, this is down in the deep south. This isn't in our area. But this is our next weather maker, and this thing is just a beast, and it's going to continue to move its way off to the east tonight. So here's the big picture. Notice that we are dry, lack of rain and lack of clouds in some spots off to the west and to the north. But I want to leave it on this bigger view. Let's get right to your futurecast. And by the way, as I always tell you at this time of the broadcast, this time of night, we get brand new data that comes down here in about 5 minutes, and I'll have that for you in about 10 or 15. But here's what it looks like as we go through the overnight hours. That storm system heads our way, does not reach us. We are dry for the morning. Bus stop forecast, dry conditions. Your morning drive, dry. But watch what happens by the time we get to noon. This thing is getting a little bit closer. Speaking of closer, here's a closer look. We are getting some rain that starts in the Philadelphia metro between noon and 2 p.m. And there's going to be a sharp line where we see some of that in the form of snow. Berks County, you guys right up through the Lehigh Valley and the Poconos. That could start out as snow. It's not a real big snow event. Poconos, maybe a couple of inches of snow. But we're getting some of the rain that's going throughout the afternoon. We get into tomorrow evening, though, and that's when the main event arrives for us. I'll break that down for you, talk about the multiple components of this storm so you can plan coming up in just a few minutes.
Bill, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you. And you can track the rain with our weather team online at cbsphiladelphia.com/weather. There you'll find live radar, the extended forecast, and our team's weather blog.
A jury in South Carolina found disgraced attorney Alex Murdaugh guilty of murdering his wife and son. Murdaugh stood emotionless as that verdict was read. Jurors deliberated for less than 3 hours. His 52-year-old wife, Maggie, and 22-year-old son, Paul, were shot to death in June of 2021 on the sprawling property that the family owned. Alex Murdaugh faces 30 years to life in prison without parole when he's sentenced.
2 months after the New Year's Day row home explosion in Port Richmond that injured 5 people, fire officials still do not know the cause. Alicia Roberts spent the night talking with residents, and they are frustrated with the lack of answers.
In a statement to CBS Philadelphia, PGW says it was not their gas mains or service lines that caused the explosion and that no leaks were found.
I don't even know where to begin. I still feel I'm at January 1st.
This empty lot is where 3 homes used to stand before a New Year's Day explosion ripped through the 3500 block of Miller Street in Port Richmond.
It sounded like a bomb.
This woman is one of about 25 residents whose homes remain boarded up. Her front door is still jammed in place from the force of the blast.
It's kind of like, I'll say, molded shut, from the lack of better terminologies. I have to use the back alleyway.
While fire officials have issued a subpoena for PGW's investigation findings, they still don't know a cause, leaving residents to hope their insurance companies will give them enough money to rebuild, a process that takes time.
It took their security, their sense of being.
Ken Paul lives 1 block down and is the president of the Port Richmond Civic Association. He was also living here when a similar explosion happened back in March 1999 near Gall and Venango Streets.
Caddy corner to where this house is back here, or where the houses were, 3 other homes blew up on that side.
He says what's most frustrating is that with no explanation and no one accepting responsibility,
they're quick to throw the blame on someone else and not them.
Residents are left to worry if and when something like this could happen again.
The people really need an answer because they're not sleeping. They're paranoid.
In a statement, the city of Philadelphia says the damage does not meet the threshold for state or federal funding. It is offering mental health services to residents impacted. Alicia Roberts, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Alicia, thanks. According to federal agents, a Pennsylvania man admitted to packing explosives into the suitcase that he checked at the Lehigh Valley Airport earlier this week. Mark Muffley appeared in court video today. According to the criminal complaint, the device was found in the lining of Muffley's suitcase during a routine screening on Monday. Muffley's friend told CBS News Philadelphia that he was bringing tools to his grandfather in Florida, and this is all just a big mistake. A judge has ruled that he must remain behind bars until a trial date is set.
A woman accused of killing a firefighter on the Schuylkill Expressway has been sentenced to 12 to 24 years in prison. Thomas Royds was among those responding to the scene of an accident in July of 2021. That's when Jacqueline Walker crashed into them. 3 other first responders were injured. Prosecutors say the back brakes of Walker's Jeep were not working. Some of Royds' injured colleagues were on hand for the sentencing.
Thomas Royds was like a mentor, a father figure to me, someone you could always rely on. Didn't have a bad bone in his body, loved him, and we have this motto now: he died for us, so we'll go serve for him.
Many first responders were seen hugging outside the courthouse. In October, Walker pleaded guilty to third-degree murder, aggravated assault by vehicle, and reckless endangerment. There were no serious injuries after several cars and 2 semi-trucks crashed on a busy highway in Chester County today. The crash happened just after 1 in the northbound lanes of Route 100 near the Route 30 bypass in West Whiteland Township. The road was shut down for about 3 hours while crews cleaned up the scene. The investigation into a cause is ongoing.
Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney gave his final budget proposal to City Council today. The main focus of the $6.1 billion proposal is crime prevention. The mayor says that there is no higher priority than public safety. Police and community organizations that try to curb gun violence would get additional funding. Kenney says the city cannot move fast enough on this issue.
I know that ending this crisis is an urgent and personal priority for every elected official in this room, and there is no higher priority for our administration. Public safety is a precondition for every single one of our goals.
Kenney's proposal includes giving police $855 million. That's up more than 8% from last year. $22.5 million of that would go toward a new forensics lab. There'd also be funding to go toward diversity in recruiting new police officers. Meanwhile, some of the candidates for mayor took to the debate stage tonight. Gary Corrado was there and has the latest.
This is a crowded field of candidates trying to pave their way and secure their spot as mayor. We heard a lot of different approaches and opinions on everything from the arts to public safety.
Everyone here is deeply disturbed with the issues that are facing Philadelphia today, and that's the reason why you see everyone on this stage running for mayor.
9 mayoral candidates taking center stage for a debate on the arts at the Kimmel Center.
The next mayor has an opportunity to build out the city.
8 sharing their visions for the future and funding of the arts and their dedication to the cultural economy in Philadelphia.
The arts community needs a seat at the table.
Philadelphia needs the loudest, proudest cheerleader for the arts, for the cultural institutions, communities, and working artists and creators who come out of every part of Philadelphia.
And not only are the arts an economic engine, but I believe that arts are a human necessity. And they're part of what make our communities and our city the amazing place that it is.
The debate lasted about an hour and a half. Moderators asked an array of questions. Some candidates addressed what they would tackle as mayor. Public safety was one of them.
Philadelphians should expect more and deserve better from our city. We all know that the #1 issue is gun violence.
We have a violence crisis, we have an affordable housing crisis, we have a jobs crisis, poverty, and education. In the short term, we need to get the violence under control.
But there is nothing that will come in between our ability to make sure that we are safer, cleaner, greener, with access to economic opportunity.
While each approach on how to run the city differed, they all shared a love for the city and vowed to make it a better place in office.
We have very different approaches, but we have amazingly the same desire, the same wants for ourselves, our families, our neighborhoods, our communities, and our city.
Carrie Corrado, CBS News, Philadelphia.
As we continue tonight, children aren't just worrying about their futures. Many worry about the future of the planet.
Coming up, learn about the phenomenon called climate change anxiety in young people and what kids can do about those feelings.
Also, yet another dead whale washes ashore along the Jersey coast. Residents are asking the same question. Why is this happening? And there are growing concerns as the summer season approaches.
And it's the calm before the storm. Bill will be back to tell us when the heaviest rain moves into our region and where icy conditions could be an issue. You can get the latest news and weather anytime on our streaming channel. Find CBS News Philadelphia through the CBS News app or Pluto TV. Anyone with children knows that they often worry about much different things than their parents. Well, one of the big ones right now is climate change.
Research shows most young people are extremely worried about it, but there is something they can do about those feelings.
National Environment Correspondent David Schechter connects with a professor doing novel research on climate change anxiety.
In Chelsea, Massachusetts, just outside Boston, there's so much jet fuel, road salt, and heating oil stored on the river. It's hard for some residents to even get close to the water. When you're young, that's the kind of thing you notice.
You wouldn't see that in a white neighborhood. You wouldn't see any industries, any smoke, any pollution.
Because a lot of the teenagers in Chelsea lived in Chelsea since they were children.
These high school students are environmental activists at a nonprofit called Green Roots.
I feel like adding more green space would help people in Chelsea go out more.
They work alongside adults advocating for environmental justice in their hometown.
I hope that they would understand and get a chance to experience that people will take them seriously when they speak to concerns and they speak to the problems that they are facing.
With a group like this, so focused on environmental problems in their neighborhood, it should come as no surprise that they're also worried about climate change.
We impact not just ourselves, but the whole world.
They know that the world is going to get to be a harder, darker, scarier place, and imagining themselves in that world feels really scary for them.
Dr. Sarah Schwartz is a professor of psychology at Suffolk University. She's been researching a phenomenon called climate change anxiety.
Climate change anxiety, I think, is an appropriate and normal response to what is going on our Earth, on our globe. I think we need to recognize it as something that a lot of people are experiencing.
This study, published last year, collected attitudes about climate change from 10,000 young people from around the world. Across all countries, 59% of youth said that they were very or extremely worried about climate change. And when it comes to how they're feeling, 62% reported anxious, 67% said sad, and 67% said afraid. The survey asked young people to respond to statements like this.
The future is frightening, yes or no?
Yes, the future is frightening because, we see how all this has happened in such a short amount of time. And if we look into the very future without any change, it's not looking that good for us, no.
People have failed to take care of the planet.
Yes, the trash island, the oceans, it's not really a clean place.
I am hesitant to have children, yes or no?
Yes. I don't want them catching asthma or having to worry so much about their health.
Yes, due to the fact that it just brings anxiety.
Dr. Schwartz says activism may be an effective way for kids to deal with those feelings.
So you can flip that one over.
Research found engaging in activism, like these students building a pop-up park in their neighborhood, may help prevent symptoms of depression.
Our research does suggest that climate activism may serve as some sort of buffer or protective effect for climate change anxiety.
And being part of that feels like I'm part of the solution.
Yeah, I'm part of the solution, and there's a whole lot of people with me doing this, so I'm not alone with my worries.
That feels right to these young activists.
And I think that if there's more people like this working towards a better future, I feel like there can be a change.
It helps me deal with it I'm not the only one.
Is there moments where you're just wow, nothing's ever gonna change, but then there's also that small feeling that there's still hope, that people will change, that people will come together to help save humanity.
Hope. It's not a strategy for tackling the challenges of climate change, but for a younger generation, it may be the best place to start. I'm David Schechter, CBS News.
Dr. Schwartz says that activism doesn't have to mean a protest or a rally. She suggests that children find something that they're already passionate about, like writing, music, or sports, and using that skill to bring change to their community.
Now, if you still are not sure where to begin or how to get involved, we have all the resources and tools you need to get started on our website. To hear candidly from our younger generation about their struggles with mental health, we're bringing a powerful documentary to you exclusively. You can watch Kids in Crisis on demand on our website. Just look for Kids in Crisis on our homepage.
And if you or someone you know is in crisis, please get help from the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by calling or texting 988.
Well, storms are pounding parts of the South tonight. This video shows a tornado crossing a road near Winsboro, Texas. It sent debris flying everywhere. Tornadoes also touched down in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, and that same system is headed east.
Yeah, it's the one that's going to bring us our weather maker
Right.
tomorrow. And so we always, of course, we look at that. We say, okay, where is the danger component to that? Where is it cross the line of just being kind of impactful versus
right.
that? We do not expect severe weather in our area, which is great. This storm is a monster down in the south, but that doesn't mean we're not going to be impacted. We will significantly. So let me show you. I want to start right with the numbers. We're still with the cloud cover out there that really didn't break today. We're still sitting at 51 degrees in Philadelphia. Not bad for this time of night, for this time of year, right? Well, not bad, I said, subjective. Certainly mild, right? 45 in Wilmington. It's 40 in Millville right now, 46 in Reading. I want to get right to your futurecast. Here's what it looks like now. No rain in our area, but we are expecting the rain to be here by the time we get to midday tomorrow. So here's the brand new futurecast as we get into the overnight hours tonight and head out the door tomorrow morning. Your morning drive, the bus stop forecast, if you work outside in the morning, all those, I give you the green light. I think we're going to be fine. No rain, no snow, no ice, none of that. That's for your morning time. Once we get to about noon, that's when things start to change up. So Delaware, I'm giving you guys that 10 a.m. to noon onset. Philadelphia, probably the noon to 2. By the way, this is the brand new data, and it's just a tick delayed over the previous runs. We don't just, do what's called model chasing and treat it as law. We like to see how things are materializing. I'm still thinking the noon to 2 for the onset of rain in Philadelphia, not snow. We get into the afternoon hours, 3 to 4. That's when we'll see it start to move up to the Lehigh Valley and the Poconos. Maybe a little snow at the onset, but this is generally a rain event for our entire region, with the exception of our far north and far western zones where you might get a little mix in the beginning. But you see this tomorrow for your evening drive. Some rain showers, not a huge deal. It's tomorrow evening, roughly 7 p.m. through midnight, that we see the most active weather in our area. Now, here's what the radar looks like. Everybody is seeing rain at this time, heavy rain in spots. And also, I want to point out these lines. The winds are going to kick up significantly, and the winds will play an issue with the storm as well. This goes through at least midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, before it kicks out of here with just some lingering showers on Saturday. Now, in terms of overall rain for the daytime hours, probably up to about 1/10 of an inch. Not a huge deal, but as we get into the late night by Saturday morning, now we're talking anywhere between 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches, if not 2 inches of rain. So that's the rain part of the story. Temperature part, it's going to be much cooler than it has been. We are up near 60 today. We're only going into the 40s tomorrow. So you add the rain, the clouds, and the wind, and 40s. It's a pretty raw day. But I want to talk a little bit more about the winds here for your day tomorrow. And it's one of the primary reasons we have the weather alert out. Well, it doesn't seem to want to launch. But I will tell you that we're going to see the winds gust up anywhere between 35 to 40 miles per hour during the evening time. And some of you may have a wind gust up to 50. So that's what we're going to be tracking. The winds go into Saturday as well. We dry things out for the weekend, keep it into the 50s. But yeah, guys, it's a great evening tomorrow night to be inside.
You got it, buddy. Thanks so much. Let's play the name game. Here's Don.
By the way, all that wind, I'm worried about my hair tomorrow night.
Toupee and small dog warning, they say.
Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and Joel Embiid. A star-studded night in the Lone Star State. Sixers and Mavs, and it comes down to the final minutes. Don't miss it. Sports coming up next. If winning were so easy, losers would do it. The Sixers have championship aspirations, but before they can prove their worth in the playoffs, they have to finish off strong in the regular season. By the numbers, they have the second hardest schedule remaining in the league. The gauntlet continues in Dallas. Joel Embiid back after sitting out the front end of a back-to-back in Miami. Second quarter, James Harden sharing is carrying. The nice pass to Joel. JoJo, 35 points and 8 boards. Meanwhile, Dallas with the Threes Company offense. Here's what we mean. Kyrie with the triple. He had 40. Mavs lead by 12. Later on, Luka with 3 of his 42. The Mavs were 52% from beyond the arc, nailing 25 threes. The Sixers fall 133-126. They visit Milwaukee Saturday. The Bucks have won 16 straight. College hoops were on North Broad Street for Temple and Central Florida. Second half, game tied at 50. Damian Dunn ready for the moment. He led the Owls with 11. Both teams shooting under 40% in this game. 2.7 seconds left. We're tied at 55. Dunn misses, and how about Nick Jourdain rebounding and scoring for the game winner? Temple survives 57-55. The regular season finale is Sunday at Tulane. All right, switching gears, it's all up in the air. Where you eat, where you sleep, where you walk your dog. A few players could find themselves doing those basic things in another city. The NHL trade deadline is tomorrow, and the Flyers are sellers. Spring training baseball, the Phils and Red Sox hooking up in Fort Myers. Second inning, bases full 11 for Christian Arroyo. Yeah, he's enjoying the view. Grand slam left field. The Red Sox taking a 6-0 lead. Now to the 7th, bases loaded again, this time for Wilier Abreu. He's going with a grand slam. The Phillies give up 15 runs. They lose it 15-3. They host the Tigers tomorrow. That's all for sports. I'm Don Bell. We'll be right back.
Another whale has washed up at the Jersey Shore, this time in Seaside Park.
This is the 14th large whale death in New York and New Jersey since December. Now, this map shows just how many deaths there have been since 2016. 3 dozen in New York, 26 in New Jersey, and 8 in Delaware. Dozens of people crowded Stockton Avenue to get a glimpse of the whale, which washed ashore about 4:30 this morning. Witnesses say it was difficult to see the whale struggling before ending up on the shore.
People from all walks of life, people, residents, visitors, boardwalk enthusiasts, fishermen, and we all kind of looked at one another at one moment, and almost everyone had tears in their eyes. It's that emotional.
Police say the Marine Mammal Stranding Center will perform tests on the whale to determine the cause of death.